What's going on, gamers? I am Merkaba18. Today we are on Castle Courtyards in Orcs Must Die, Deathtrap. Now, this is a brand new tower defense 3D roguelike, which is quite a mouthful. But we are on Castle Courtyards. This is initially one of the hardest maps to set up for, especially at first glance. Based on the early pools that you have access to, this map might be one of the harder ones to set up until you start killing some of the bosses. But we got you covered on this one. The reason this one is so difficult is you have a lot of verticality and a lot of different entry points. So you have one that is right over there with a maze. You have another entry point over here. They can go upstairs over there. And then eventually you have some secondary entry points back behind over there and over here. So if you're not careful, it can result in you splitting your setup. But with this setup, you will not need to do that. We are playing as Gabriella, as I often do. This is one of my favorite solo characters because of her trap reset. But play whoever you want. It really doesn't affect the setup too much. Just make sure that you're careful about where you place your anti-air, especially on this map. So my recommendation, and this is one of the first maps where you're going to notice that it's important to think forward rather than just think about like, okay, we have two entry points, let's deal with that. You want to create a sort of setup that is going to cover all four doors from the very beginning. Otherwise, you're going to end up with too many split traps. First thing I recommend is grab this Sentinel Archer right here. And here are the traps that we're going to use for this setup. We got a saw floor trap. We've got the standard tar and fire and brimstone. We've got the poison flower. We've got the anti-air air vent, which will also throw things up in the air that are not air. But most of the air stuff is going to get hit pretty hard or one shot with that one. We've got the galvanized wall mount. And then my personal favorite is the briar, which will grow as it does damage and spread all over the place. We'll talk about roguelike card choices and stuff like that when we get to that point. But let's set this up as if we are, all four doors are open, and we have to deal with all four entry points. I'm gonna go here, place three barricades there. And then we are gonna come over here and place two barricades right here, which will force these two doors up through this staircase. I walk the path so you can kind of see where they're going. You're going to walk this path. This is going to force both of these doors up through here. Let me just show you this as well real quick. This right here is a really good secondary sentinel. You'll notice that some of these are going to go up these stairs. Don't worry about that. You're funneling through them the same place. It just may take them longer than some others. The funnel point is going to be that door right there for this backside. You can see they kind of converge here. It is helpful if you have extra barricades to put a couple right here. Not necessary because they are going to the same place, but it does create a little bit of a deeper funnel so that everything has to come through right here. So I recommend putting your, I would say put two barricade or two briars right here, and this will continue to grow outward. And you'll run into a situation where most of this area is covered in briar. Then you're going to come down here, and you're going to put a couple of these guys right here, and you're going to put your reset right here. All right, cool. So this is going to reset these two traps, and you'll notice that the reset, per trap resets them based on a charge. So you're going to see that it's using that based on how it's highlighted there. Do a couple of bounce traps there as well, so that you get as many entry points on that as possible, and then everything down through here. So we're going to then, so that creates a scenario where they're coming down these stairs, but that doesn't solve the problem of these back doors over here, and you don't want them running straight into the rift right there. So you're going to go across, just like this, so that they have to, let me clean that up. That was kind of messy. Let me clean that up. You can go right here, like that. So that they have to go back through that hallway. So now you have a convergence point where this secondary door is going to open up eventually, and they're going to the same place as the other two doors. But now we have a... This is why this map gets a little bit complicated, because now we have another door that is going to also open up over here. So you don't really want to split your setup. So what you will do, take 3 more traps right, or barricades right here.
Take the long way.
Which will force everything down through this hallway right here. So now you have a scenario where everything is going to come down this staircase right here. And this is where you're going to set up your primary traps. The reason that we're only doing a few here is because we do have to deal with that first wave, and eventually you're going to want to pick stuff off, right? Like, you don't want to leave this entire area open. So this is going to do quite a bit of secondary damage, and it's really not that expensive of a setup. Now, I will also warn you that there are air mobs that we're going to come through right here. So you just want to cover this area a little bit. Don't necessarily have to go all the way across, but you want to create a scenario where the rift is entirely covered here. Like that. So that's all you'll need right there for anti-air, at least until later. Eventually, you'll want to kind of close the circle out. You don't need anything necessarily right here, just right there, and right here. In case there's stuff from that door. That is your anti-air plot. Now, we'll go right here and create a funnel. We're actually going to, put that right here. And then everything in the entire map is going to funnel through here. So you can take one briar here.
Let's wreck them.
One flower. And maybe a secondary flower here. Now, what's interesting is this trap isn't going to do anything necessarily bad. So that's not stopping anything from acting or moving in that direction. But you get a reset on these flowers. You can also then don't go too heavy on these, but go like 2 right there. And then back through here, you can go with a little bit of a saw blade setup. And we want to further funnel everything
Maybe I should have
here.
Village
so you want to create a scenario where they have to, even that side, if they come down through here, has to run through this. And then as you notice, they will be going mostly through here. So you create a double wide fire setup. Might even be able to place that like... Let's do that in reverse. You want tar first. Actually, you could probably do it right here. So let's do a double wide tar. And trust me, you're going to want 2 at least, because sometimes they'll overlap and it looks clean right now, but it's not. You go there. Got your fire trap set up. And then you've got a little bit of money to spare. This is going to continue to grow out. And it's especially important that you start to pick stuff off through here. That's going to do most of your damage to start with, and then this is going to be your secondary primary setup here. But now you've set up so that you are able to handle all 3 or 4 doors, and any leftover money you can spend on kind of whatever you want to. Probably good to do a couple of poisons here. Maybe an extra saw blade right here. And that is going to mostly take care of everything. If they are able to get to this point, you can start to pick stuff off. You'll one-shot most of the small stuff with this character, and then everything else should be fine. Now, the thing I will tell you is on this map, you're going to see a lot of characters, especially when these secondary doors open with shields. So you're going to want to stand behind them and nuke them down as fast as possible. Use your resets as often as you can so that you are resetting these traps and activating them quickly. Most likely, as you get through the second round, this should be able to handle everything. And then fill this room with more galvanized balls and all the anti-air that you could possibly want. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please make sure to hit the sub button. Check out the live streams. We play this game and a ton of other roguelikes. As you see new updates to this map, I will update this video with the changes. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this content and look forward to the next one.